I say, come on YouTube, and it uploaded. But yeah, I wasn't going to upload any videos, and I thought I'd upload this because please don't judge me on this, but I was so tired. I got up and fed the cat, and then I went back to sleep. Actually, I got up I'm sure it's about 4 o'clock by the time I got up. So it feels like I've been up for a long time, but I've only been up for like 4 hours. Trying to get ready to go to the gym, get something to eat, and go to the gym. So I haven't had much to eat today. I think I'll just grab some chips quickly. But I was thinking, unlike me, because it's a 6th today and a Wednesday, I was thinking about my least favourite topic, hard work. But I was thinking Asians, unlike me, although I'm part Asian, have a hard working ethic. But I'm sure if people had a choice, they wouldn't work hard. Maybe some people might, but as someone said, I think I'm the only one who likes to be lazy. But someone said, who isn't if we don't have the choice? Someone from a library. Going well, tangents. But I thought I'd talk, as it's a Wednesday, about and as it's a 6th and a Wednesday, I thought I'd talk. For some reason, the number 6 makes me think of Italian football, Serie A, and Italian football teams. Maybe I should have waited to come back from the gym to upload, but I'm here now, as I say. But as usual, I've had loads of different distractions pulling me away. But I thought I'd talk about like how I think Italian football and Celtic could network with Asia and Asians to try to help Italian football become world class again, and Celtic to be as world class as possible, to become world class. Pretty much the first time in its history. But I wanted to talk about like the mutual benefit that both could have. So I thought Asians could, from Asia itself and even from the diaspora, however you pronounce it. I'd especially love for my fellow Eurasians like me, part European and part Asian, to support Italian football and Celtic, and mixed race people more generally to support Celtic as well. And I thought if people think of Eurasians like Anglo-Indians, Gristangs and whatnot as being cool, maybe if we wore the Italian football tops and things like that for the national team and different Italian teams like AC Milan, Inter Milan, Roma, and all the other Italian teams, maybe other Asians could be convinced to do so as well in Asia itself. It is a big market after all. But yeah, I thought it'd be cool if if Asians invested into and sponsored Italian football. I can't really imagine them donating to Italian football, similar with Celtic, because I guess normally the idea is that they want something in return. So I guess the idea of investing is to get good return on investment, and probably to an extent get good PR for your investments. Some people call it sports washing or whatever, for instance. And I guess sponsorship entails having good PR, and I guess the ultimate goal is, like anything in business, to get good return on investment, I imagine, although I know some businesses are more ethical than others. But for some it's probably purely profit, but even those who are more ethical would probably still want to make profit and that kind of thing. But yeah, I love for Asians from Asia itself and from the diaspora to invest into and sponsor Italian football. I love for Italian football and Celtic to work with, like, especially Italian football, I guess, in terms of embassies, like the Italian embassy. I saw something about the Italian embassy in India, and it made me think of like working with its embassies across Asia, from China, India, and Japan to Korea, and all of Asia really, but also with its diasporas around the world, to invest in and sponsor Italian football, and that kind of thing, and promote like football pitches and opportunities for Italians to play football. Also, Italians could. I was thinking I won't do a list video as usual today, but as I normally do, but I thought I'd try and do something a bit different, but it's difficult. I normally think of things in list form, so I was thinking, again, Asians to invest into and sponsor Italian football. Don't see them donating to it, because again, I imagine there's ones in the return, but you never know. I know some people would say there's bigger things to donate to, but yeah, so I'm trying to think of the mutual benefits. So if they invested into and sponsored Italian football and Celtic, and also followed and supported Italian teams, and also Asian nations could be invited to Italy. Italy could host events. Also, Celtic Park could host events for Asian teams, as well as each other. So Italy could invite Celtic and vice versa, but also invite African and especially Asian teams, and especially at like youth development, like younger Italian teams as well as young Celts, to be invited to across Asia to different youth tournaments, Italian school teams, and junior teams and youth teams. I'd love to know what you think about my ideas. And I'm thinking I probably shouldn't eat too close to going to the gym. I'm trying to get myself pumped up, ready to do a bit of weight training. For a lazy guy, I guess. The laziest guy in the world. But yeah, I'd say, so I'm thinking about, again, it's easier to think in list form. So I guess I love to talk about stories as well. So could you imagine in the future, picture if you would, a story, I guess, of Italians and Celts, Celtic sports. I mean, in this case, going to Asian nations, especially at youth level, like I said, schools, school teams, like the Juventus academies and whatnot. But I think more of them should be played in the senior teams as well. But as I say, Italian football could also work with academies. With academies, but also with their embassies, and maybe the embassies, for instance, like the Chinese and Indian and Japanese and Korean embassies, maybe even the Taiwanese, Central Asian nations, and all possible Asian nations, their embassies. I'm sure Italy has an embassy in all those nations, pretty much, I would imagine. Or they could develop embassies there, but they could arrange football matches and also like sponsor and invest into Italian football as part of like their deals and things like that. And in return, I hope that, so yeah, breaking it down, as I say, in list form, which I find easiest, as I say, investing into and sponsoring and inviting Italian teams to Asia and going to visit Italy. Similar again with Celtic, same sort of thing, perhaps at a different level maybe. Again, especially at the youth level to help Italian football development. So yeah, just trying to think if I've missed anything. Investing into, sponsoring, again, I can't imagine them donating to, but following, supporting, and playing games to help them practice Italian teams, and hopefully that would help Italian football to become world class. And another thing I was thinking about is like with migration. I'm sure when people think of Italy, when they think of immigration, there's a lot of migrants who come from Africa who I think should be included in teams. I think it should be based on merit. Having more people to compete would be, and then picking the best possible players, no room for nepotism, all that kind of thing, should be of benefit. As ever, I'd love to know if you think I'm being naive with my ideas, or if you think they're mad, genius ideas, or if you think they're mad ideas, genius ideas, or a bit of both, or whatever. I'd love to know. Do you think I'm being a fool? I hope you won't be too harsh. But as ever, please feel free to comment what you want. But yeah, that's hopefully Italian football would benefit, and Celtic becoming world class as possible, as good as possible, and continue to improve with increased investment, sponsorship, maybe even donations, opportunities to play more tournaments, inviting Asian nations into Italy and to Celtic Park, and then getting to play in Asian nations. So more practicing opportunities, more sponsorship for like places and spaces for playing and practicing football, or spaces and spaces for playing and practicing, or spaces and places for soccer, if you like. Same sort of thing, really. I just put it in both orders. So yeah, that's how I hope Italian football and Celtic would benefit by becoming world class as I support those. And maybe to an extent like LCFC, Leicester City Football Club, when I grew up in Leicester, and it's very diverse. They should perhaps capitalise on their Asian connections, similar with maybe Birmingham, perhaps to an extent, but I'm more passionate about Italian football than Celtic, to be fair. Even though I grew up in Leicester. But it is very diverse. I think they should capitalise on that. Using my dyslexic creativity and connectivity, I guess. But yeah, how would Asians benefit? I guess they could improve their football by practicing against Italian teams and Celtic, although I know Italian football isn't as good, anywhere near as good as it used to be, unfortunately, but they could have a campaign to help it to be world class. But mainly, I hope their businesses will benefit, because when it comes to football, I support Italy and Celtic, as they mentioned, to a lesser extent, like Leicester, maybe even Birmingham, but and mainly Mediterranean teams. Yeah, I'd love for Italian football and Celtic to work with embassies. I suppose in Celtic's case it would be Scottish embassies or British embassies around the world, maybe, as it's part of Britain. But also with its Irish connection, maybe, especially with the Irish embassy and that kind of thing. And they can invest into and sponsor mainly, probably more so the latter, to be fair, and encourage like football matches and give basically training opportunities for Italian team and Celtic. And I'd love for Italian football and Celtic to work with the Asian Development Bank as well. Again, maybe Leicester and Birmingham could do so as well. I thought I'd put them in there. But yeah, I'm probably going around in circles, but I think that covers everything. Again, maybe when I come back from the gym, I might think, oh, sure, I forgot that, but I can include it later, hopefully. Yeah, I didn't get around to doing much writing. I've been a bit indecisive, having a bit of writer's block and struggling to make decisions and feeling very lazy, but also very bored watching YouTube.